Many people are of the persuasion that if you're a young earth creationist, that somehow you've bought into a conspiracy theory.
Oh boy, here we go. Roll intro. We're back again with Matt Powell, as he's going to explain why he is a young earth creationist. You may not know this, but Matt possibly was, a disciple of Ken Hovind. Expect a lot of head scratching today.
But I'm here to tell you that young earth creationism and creation science itself is in fact the best explanation for the observations that we make in the world.
So the best explanation is something that left no evidence behind and no scientist has discovered or believed in without first reading the Bible.
You see, we find dinosaur soft tissue and dinosaur blood of dinosaurs that supposedly existed 65 plus million years ago.
Why does young earth creation continue to use this when the scientist, who is a Christian, that discovered it, says the opposite? She accepts evolution and believes the earth is 4.5 billion years old. They found trace amounts. They didn't find dinosaurs full of blood. If dinosaurs really only lived a few thousand years ago, we should find thousands and thousands of these. We don't.
But this evidence that we've found not only contradicts that, but proves that the Bible was correct when the Bible told us that God made man and dinosaurs together.
Well, it does if you read it hyper-literally, which is not the way you're supposed to read it. The Old Testament is a product of the ancient Near Eastern culture. It was told and then later written down by ancient Hebrews living in ancient times in Hebrew. They had a very different way of explaining things than we do in modern times in English.
One of the other reasons that we know that creation science is true is because we find bent rock layers all across the world.
Yeah, it's amazing how when rocks are still warm, they bend when experiencing pressure.
Now, you cannot bend hard rock. According to evolution, these layers were slowly formed through plate tectonic shifts in the crust.
Evolution is a theory about biological diversity. The word you're looking for is geology. Seriously, anyone who's actually read and understood a science book can understand this.
But the truth is that these layers would have not only eroded as they're being created, right? Because gravity causes everything to erode flat over time. Mountains wouldn't exist if millions of years existed, because gravity would have eroded those mountains.
Do you even know what gravity is? Because you think there's air in space. Erosion is caused by wind and water.
But even if we enter into fantasy land and pretend that it's true, it does not explain the bends in the rocks that we observe.
Well, if we exit the fantasy land that you live in, I've explained it in many videos, and so have many others. Vice Rhino explained it and showed it using crayons. If I can find it before I finish making this video, I'll even post it here and leave a link. I doubt that you'll see it, but hopefully some people leaving Young Earth Creation do.
You see, we observe these bends that literally show that these rocks were moist and soft and lifted up all together in one event, in a catastrophic event, i.e. Noah's flood.
A geologic fold is a rock formation that's been made by flat rocks becoming deformed due to stress and pressure. Folds are created when two plates that make up the Earth's crust collide. As the plates are forced together, they bend, curve, or make jagged patterns in the rock. Structures formed by geological folding are found all over the Earth and can be of any size. The Alps in Europe, the Andes in South America, and America's Rocky Mountains are all examples of mountains that have been formed by folding.
Like I said before, creation science isn't just some theory or just some random thing that people believe in. I'm a young earth creationist because I believe in demonstrated fact that's been shown in real time and that you can verifiably back up with facts and evidence.
Look, I was young earth creation for at least half my life. There's no evidence that shows this. If there was, you'd have tens of thousands of scientists that would discover it and publish it and believe it without reading the Bible. Do you plan to show any of this evidence somewhere in this video?
One of the other things that proves creation science is mutation rates. From generation to generation, Us humans accumulate 100 to 200 more mutations than our parents had. So our offspring is continuously gaining more and more mutations. The genetic load of mutations is increasing over time as we reproduce.
Humans experience 70 on average per generation. Matt is either ignorant or making things up, also known as lying.
And that creation science, once again, is something that you can show to be true.
Can you provide a link to your peer-reviewed scientific paper that proves this? Sorry. Or any legitimate scientist that claims this?
Look, either God created the world, or the world created itself.
Or God set up a system of rules that allowed what he created to become the thing he wanted it to.
Either everything popped into existence from magic, from nothing.
That seems to be a description of young earth creationism. One day there's nothing here, the next day it all is.
Or it was designed. It's either magic or intelligent design.
Or both, as I explained earlier, created and designed by God and explained by science.
Many people have said, well, aren't you afraid of exposing evolution? A lot of these atheists will say, aren't you afraid, Matt, of exposing evolution to your viewers? Don't you realize people are going to end up leaving creationism in the droves?
Number one, evolution is not an atheistic theory. It's accepted and promoted by many Christians. It's accepted and promoted by the Catholic Church. And yes, I consider Catholics to be Christians. It's also accepted and promoted by people of other various religions. Number two, Matt, you would actually have to understand one tiny little fact about evolution in order to expose it. Number three, I would love it if people left young earth creation in droves. It's why I make videos, to expose it and hope that people leave it in droves.
But the fact of the matter is that people are not going to leave the light once they've seen the truth to go into believing in a counterfeit.
You're correct, but only because your beliefs are counterfeit. I left young earth creationism, and others can too.
Once you've seen the glorious light of the truth, it's almost impossible to just outright believe a lie.
You're writing my script for me, Matt.
Because the truth is so powerful and fears no investigation that it stands up against all scrutiny that would come from all of these other worldviews that are imposed upon it and try to attack this model of creation science.
So take off the creation science part at the end, and you've described why I and many others have left young earth creation and why many others should follow us out the door. You start to truly follow the evidence of what you and Kent Hovind and Ken Ham say, and you realize it's all pseudoscience. You can't decide a conclusion and then find evidence to support what you've already concluded. There are no legitimate answers to the distant starlight problem or the heat problem of catastrophic plate tectonics. I have many good resources down in the description. Please go read them.
It is true. You can show it to be fact. Look, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth is a fact of history.
Well, it's hard for me to show it's a fact when I don't believe in it anymore. You utterly failed to show it's a fact. Yes, God created it, and a few hundred years of science have shown us how. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting my channel. It would be great if you could like, share, and subscribe. Also, please remember, Christianity and science can and do coexist. If you want to see some more, here you go.